Man City vs Napoli was not just another Champions League night, it was a collision of two footballing philosophies, a test of grit, passion, and tactical brilliance. Under the bright lights, the Etihad stadium was buzzing with energy, and every single fan inside the ground knew that this clash had the potential to deliver something special. Manchester City, the Premier League giants, came into this battle with confidence, carrying their aura of dominance, their well-drilled system, and their star power. Napoli, on the other hand, were not there to just participate, they came with fire in their hearts, carrying the pride of Italy, wanting to prove that their football, their pressing game, and their resilience could match the best in Europe. The stakes were high, the tension was thick, and when the referee blew the whistle, everything exploded into 90 minutes of intensity. From the opening moments, it was clear that this would not be an easy walk for Pep Guardiola's men. Napoli pressed high, they tried to suffocate City's build-up, forcing errors and looking to strike early. Their midfield was sharp, their defensive shape compact, and in the first 10 minutes, they actually carved out a half chance that made the away fans rise with hope. But Manchester City are not champions of England for nothing. The way they absorbed that early storm showed their maturity. With every touch, every pass, you could see how they gradually tilted the game in their favor. Kevin De Bruyne was pulling the strings like a master conductor, dictating tempo, spreading passes into wide areas, and making Napoli's midfield run in circles. Phil Foden was electric, dancing past defenders, injecting pace, and giving City that fearless attacking edge. Erling Haaland, the man with the golden touch, was lurking, waiting for his chance to strike. The breakthrough came in the 29th minute, and when it did, the stadium erupted. A clever exchange between De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva carved open the Napoli defense. Silva's delicate pass found Foden on the left, and with a burst of pace, he whipped in a low cross. There it was, Haaland charging through like a beast, sliding in with perfect timing, guiding the ball into the net. 1-0 to City, and it was vintage Haaland, that ruthless instinct, that hunger to score. He celebrated with his trademark calmness, but you could see the fire in his eyes. For Napoli, it was a gut punch, because until then, they had fought bravely, but against City, one lapse in concentration is fatal. Their fans kept singing, urging them on, but deep inside, they knew this would now be an uphill battle. The first half ended with City controlling possession, but Napoli never lost their spirit. They tried to break on the counter, testing Ederson with a couple of efforts, but the Brazilian goalkeeper was sharp, commanding his box with authority. Pep Guardiola, as animated as ever, kept shouting instructions, demanding perfection from his players. And that is what makes this City side so powerful. They don't settle, they don't relax, they keep pushing, always hungry for more. The second half began with Napoli showing determination. They pressed again, trying to exploit City's high line. For a few moments, the away side looked dangerous, with Victor Osimhen running tirelessly, trying to outmuscle City's defense. But Ruben Dias and Manuel Akanji stood firm, cutting off the supply, making tackles at crucial moments. The more Napoli pushed, the more City found space to exploit, and slowly, the game slipped further from the Italian side's hands. You could sense it, that feeling when one team is in control, dictating everything, and the other is chasing shadows. City was simply irresistible. The decisive moment arrived in the 67th minute. De Bruyne once again was at the heart of it. With his vision, he spotted Foden making a diagonal run. The Belgian maestro floated a pass that cut open the entire Napoli defense. Foden controlled it with elegance, one touch to settle, and then with his left foot, he curled the ball past the goalkeeper into the far corner. 2-0 to City, and this time, the celebration was wild. The fans roared, Foden raised his hands, and his teammates swarmed him. That was not just a goal, it was a statement. A statement that City were not just here to win, they were here to dominate, to remind the rest of Europe that they remain the team to beat. Napoli's players sank for a moment, their heads dropping, knowing how hard it is to come back against a side like City, especially on their own turf. The rest of the match saw Napoli fighting with pride, but the mountain was too steep. They tried to find Osimhen in the box, they tried to shoot from distance, but Ederson and his defense stood strong. City, meanwhile, showed their game management, calmly passing the ball around, stretching Napoli, keeping the tempo in their control. The Etihad crowd knew the job was done, but they stayed loud, creating an atmosphere that was both celebratory and intimidating. When the final whistle blew, it was Manchester City 2, Napoli 0, a result that reflected both the quality and the ruthlessness of this English giant. The highlights of the night belonged to Haaland and Foden for their goals, but also to De Bruyne, whose brilliance in midfield was unmatched. His assists, his vision, his ability to control the flow of the game was simply world-class. On the Napoli side, Osimhen deserves credit for his tireless effort, and their midfield worked hard, but against a team of City's caliber, effort alone is not enough. It requires perfection, and Napoli couldn't find that edge. Emotionally, this game told a story of two teams at different stages of the European journeys. For Napoli, it was about pride, about showing that they could stand against the very best, and while they lost, they showed courage. Their fans will remember the fight, the moments of hope, even if the result stung. For City, it was another chapter in their quest for dominance. Every game like this adds to their legend, their aura. Pep Guardiola's vision of perfect football was once again on display, and his players delivered it with precision and passion. The scorecard reads Manchester City 2, Napoli 0. Goals from Haaland in the 29th minute and Foden in the 67th sealed the victory. Possession favoured City, shots on target favoured City, and the quality on display was undeniable. Napoli leave with lessons, City march forward with momentum. Nights like these remind us why we love football, because it's not just about goals or tactics, it's about emotions, about dreams, about pride, and about those unforgettable moments when a pass, a run, or a finish can make thousands scream with joy or sigh in despair. This was not just a game, this was football in its purest form, where passion meets strategy, where players become heroes, and where fans live every second with their hearts on the line. So as the dust settles, the story is written. City keep chasing glory, Napoli keep chasing belief, and the Champions League keeps giving us these nights of magic. 2-0, the score says it all, but the emotions behind it tell an even bigger tale.